It's plain racism. It's racism against the majority, against Caucasian Americans, or whites if you want to call us that. Basically, it's ignorant nonsense, and it's just as bad as being racist against African Americans or Latino Americans or Hispanic Americans. I apologize, by the way, if I'm not using the correct terms. I'll admit I'm somewhat ignorant in that regard. I'm not sure exactly what is the the PC term of the day. So here's the story of the day. First off, props to adversity.net. Here's a story of the day. Suburban DC school system hires race baiter to improve racial sensitivity. Let's see. The Arlington County, Virginia school system has recently contracted with one of the country's most reviled and biased promoters of white guilt and anti-Western multiculturalism. His name is Glenn Singleton. He is black, and he believes that by definition, white people cannot be discriminated against. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Singleton also espouses the view that only whites can be racist. Obviously, he is out of touch with reality. In the late 1990s, the Arlington school system had repeatedly violated a judge's order to stop using race-based lotteries to determine admissions to one of their most sought-after schools. Finally, in 1999, a federal court ruled definitively that Arlington County schools could not use any type of race-based student assignment plan. The decision was Tuttle versus Arlington County Public Schools. Okay, good idea. Nonetheless, in 2007, the drumbeat of forced diversity and multiculturalism remained strong in this politically correct stronghold in spite of the court's repeated rulings. Arlington schools have implemented a plan to impose their belief in white guilt and the myth of white privilege upon their staff and faculty. The purpose is to ultimately indoctrinate their hapless students in this doctrine. Their recently hired consultant, Glenn Singleton, earns consulting fees in the six figures from school districts across the U.S. which apparently suffer from excessive white guilt, and who hope their exorbitant payments to Mr. Singleton will absolve them and their students of the sin of being born white. Arlington school officials have hired Glenn Singleton to provide training in cultural competence. This allegedly will help students and school staff to acquire attitudes, skills, knowledge, and behaviors that enable staff and students to develop positive relationships and work effectively in cross-cultural situations. Let's see here. I mean, it goes on from here. I'm not going to bother with you anymore. I'm going to provide a link in the sidebar to this article. And I recommend you read these all because, I mean, this is going to provide a lot of fodder for this show. I'm out of here. I will see you tomorrow with another story. Get active. Seriously. This is ridiculous.